This meeting.
Hello, and welcome to this video on setting up and flying your first flight. This is an introduction to flying a plane, and particularly flying the PMDG 737. There are other planes that work with TFM in the PMDG category, but we're only going to use the 37 for today. We're doing a short flight, although I could do one that's a 6-hour flight and triple, but we're going to keep things as simple as we possibly can. Just a note about flight simming, there are a number of add-ons that you can purchase. One to give you realistic weather conditions, one to give you passenger ambience and atmosphere, one to give you software-controlled ATC. There are several of those add-ons actually. But today is going to be using First Officer Pro and the PMDG and TFM, and that is it, except for the program that we're going to use to make our flight plan. Prerequisites for making a flight plan: you must have a Navigraph subscription, and that can in turn be used on SimBrief. There are two ways you can go about making your flight plan. You can use simbrief.com directly. It is definitely accessible. But you can also use a tool called Sim Toolkit Pro. And I'll show you why we prefer that here in just a moment. Free flight like this allows you to fly anywhere, provided, of course, your plane can take you. And in this case, we're going to make a simple flight. This flight is going to be from Knoxville to Nashville. These are both airports in my home state of Tennessee, and actually Knoxville is my home airport. I've taken flights out of that airport a few times. It's a very small airport. It only has 4 runways. Nashville has 8 runways, but it's also a fairly small airport, even though it is an international hub. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to minimize and go to the desktop here.
Desktop list, Zoom 30.
We're highlighted on the Zoom icon. That's not what we want. We're going to hit SI.
Serial access.
And we don't want that.
SIM. Sim Toolkit Pro.
Sim Toolkit Pro is what we want. I'm going to press enter. I already have a copy of this plan in my flight folder, so we're not going to download it. But essentially, you can use the SimBrief downloader to set up your directories, and that will help you manage where your flight plans go. You can import your flight plans directly into your plane. In this case, I already have mine there. I'll show you where it's stored, however, so that you can know where to set up the flight plans in the future. So
Sim use only 0.
Sim use only. In other words, don't try to create these flight plans and go fly them yourself in the real world. It probably won't work.
Button. Complementary landmark list with.
I'm just hitting the B button.
Main landmark clickable IFR flight planning button.
IFR flight planning. That's the one that we want. And nothing happened, it seemed, when we hit the B button, but I'm going to hit the letter E.
Clickable departure, edit departure.
Departure.
Main landmark, departure, edit departure blank.
This is the 4-letter ICAO code or airport ID. And in this case, we want KTYS. I use all caps when I feel I need to.
KTYS McGee Tyson Airport link.
You heard the link. We're going to press enter. We're going to press tab again.
Main landmark, destination edit, destination blank.
Destination edit, KBNA. Whoops. KBNA, not KBNS. I don't know. I don't want to know where that would take us.
KBNA Nashville International Airport link.
That's the one that we want. And, or I could do Memphis. No, we're going to stick to Nashville. Sorry, folks.
Clickable select button.
And this is giving us a list of aircraft in our database. I'm not going to talk about creating an aircraft and creating a fleet. Well, I'll do a series on Sim Toolkit Pro if it's requested, but there's there's so much, and I just
Search
want
fleet, edit
to
search
keep
fleet.
it as simple as possible.
Search
Search fleet, we want a 737.
Add button, add aircraft. Search fleet, blank,
Okay.
738.
738.
B738 BVI 010.
And basically what that B738 is the aircraft code. It means 737-800. It's nothing that you really need to worry about right now. Don't worry, you have a 737-800. And even if it's not a 738, as long as it's a 737, you'll be able to fly this.
Change button.
So don't put too much stock at this point in, do I have the exact 737? Because there's several different variants of it. And as long as you have a 737, you should be able to fly
ABC 12D, edit select.
this particular flight. So it
BVI
wants
on
a
speed.
number.
Blank.
It's BVI. That's because I had several flights and aircraft for the airline that the BVI virtual airline. Again, don't worry about that until you're comfortable.
AB edit blank. Blank.
Let's go ahead and just give it a number. Let's do one of my favorite number codes.
8, 6, 5, 7.
There we go. That's the one.
1234 edit AB edit selected 02
We can
J.
just tab through
1234 edit.
these because this is the date.
Combo
Things
box
like
Lido
that.
collapsed.
Combo box Lido. We actually do care about this field.
Expanded list Lido all 2 of 23. ACA 3 of 20. AFR 12 of AFR 17. A6 of 23.
There's
Lido 1 of 23.
several different things.
Combo
We
box.
want Lido. That's important. And so is the next box.
Combo box LBS collapsed.
LBS. If you are using FS Airlines, again, you won't for this, but if we were, you need to make sure that this is set to LBS, because if you're generating flights and it's set to KBS and you have your stuff set to LBS, it can get or KGS, kilograms instead of pounds. It can get very topsy-turvy as far as fuel goes. This sets it to pounds, so you don't have to do the math.
Advanced button.
Advanced, we won't worry about that.
Generate plan button.
That's the button that we want. We're going to generate it.
Cancel generation. Document busy blank. Sim brief com virtual flight planning solutions document. AirAx cycle. 2206 link current.
AirAx cycle being kept current is important. That gives you your navigation, your waypoints, your runways, all of that stuff. Keeps it up to date and fresh. Let's just say you don't want to know what happens when a plane's data is not up to date. Mayday Air Disasters did an episode where a plane's data was not up to date, and it was bad, very bad. The plane just kind of vanished off the radar. But nevertheless, our plan is generated, and we could go download it at this point. Again, I already have it, but I will show you where that is. But before I do that, I want to show you how to get at the information you will need, either if you are doing only SID stars and runways, or if you are programming the CDU for the plane yourself. We're not going to program the plane ourselves today. And the reason for that is you're only allowed 5 minutes. If I am taking, you're only allowed 5 minutes to do it, and first officer come back and program everything else correctly. It doesn't mean you can't program anything else. It means that you have 5 minutes to do it before first officer gets back in from checking the outside of the plane and doing what he needs to do before he finishes programming the rest of the data. If you don't do it within that timeline, you will need to program the headings and the speeds and things yourself. I will send, if it is requested, I will send the written instructions that I have personally created to program the plane by yourself, but we're not doing all of that today. But nevertheless, getting at this information will be important regardless.
Update button 0 button. Button. Complimentary landmark list with a main landmark.
I'm
Update plan
looking for
button.
the
Menu
fly
button. Collapse.
button.
Fly now button. Fly now.
There it is.
Button update. Clickable menu button. Menu button. Collapsed sub menu. Menu button. Menu button. Menu button. Menu button. Menu button.
Where
Collapsed
is that
sub menu
load
button.
sheet?
Menu.
That's the button I'm looking for.
Friends to my plan button. Map menu. Flight menu. Scratch but load sheet. OFP but load sheet button.
There it
Load sheet
is.
button.
And we're going to
OFP
pop
but finish
out
flight
that
button.
load sheet.
Clickable pop out load sheet button. Simple Kit Pro document button close load sheet.
And it's popped up a little window
Button close
here.
button move clickable flight reference 8,000,006.
And I'm going to select all of this. I'm just going to hit Control Shift End.
574.
I'm going to
Copy to clipboard. Flight reference
I'm
8,000,006.
going
Button
to
close load sheet.
close the load sheet.
Sim user update button.
I'm going to exit
Desktop list.
Sim Toolkit Pro. Run
dialog type the
Notepad.
text desktop untitled notepad.
Paste the information there. I'm going to name this file. I'm actually going to
574 character selected.
You know what? Yeah, I will name this file.
A. Save
We'll
as
call
dialog.
this
flight
tutorial
info.
info. And we're going to press enter.
Flight tutorial info txt notepad. Text editor document selected 574 characters.
Okay, so we're going to need the SID, the stars, and the runways. And let's just scroll down here.
Blank.
Or let's go
Flight
up
reference.
to the top.
Blank.
And back down.
Ramp blank and reserve minute blank.
Just
Blank.
getting
Max
past some
100 cargo
information.
Blank. ATC route KTYS 05L KBNA 20L.
Ooh, they've changed it. It says
ATC route KTYS 05L KBNA 20L.
we're gonna take off from runway 5 left in Knoxville, and we're gonna land in 20 left in Nashville. Now I don't want to make this too complicated, so we need one more piece of information for this flight.
Blank. DCTVXVSWFFT2. Character 2. TFFWS space VXV space VXV space SWFFT.
VXV and SW
FFWS WFFT2.
SWFFT2. Those are waypoints. Specifically, those are waypoints to determine arrival and transition. Now, your arrival sends you on a path, a guided path. Think of it as when you're traveling on the streets, you have lanes that you have to travel on to get to your destination. You can't just travel all over the street whenever you feel like it. There's lanes, there's signs that tell you where to turn. Well, this is kind of like that. It's guidelines for traveling in the air. And if you're new to flight simming, the obvious thought would be, well, it's great big amounts of sky. It's endless. Why do you need rules? Well, if you don't have guidance and you don't have assigned waypoints and arrivals and pathways that you fly, it's just like car accidents on the street. You're going to have accidents, and that's what these waypoints are giving us, is directions on how to approach and how to head toward our destination, which is
ATC route KTYS 05L KBNA 20L.
KBNA. That is the that's the airport 20 left. And so we're going to go now. I'm going to pause the recording while I launch the simulator and prep it. And basically by prepping it, I'm just going to move us to the proper airport. I'm going to select the Boeing 737. I'm creating the scenario that we need. And then I'm going to launch TFM.
You don't want to show him that?
Well, I could. So what we're going to do, I guess I can show you. I can show this. So we're going to hit Windows
Desktop
10.
list. Sim Toolkit Pro.
We don't need Sim Toolkit Pro anymore. I'm going to hit P.
Prepar 3 DV463 of 67.
And that is Prepar 4. I do want to get 5 back, but 4 will do for this. It will do more than nicely, actually. I have the academic license of 4. I want to get 5.
Lockheed Martin Prepar 3 DV4. Prepar 3D scenario startup dialog. Prepar 3D.
And we're in the scenario startup screen.
Prepar 3D scenario. Change vehicle button.
And the first thing that we come to is change vehicle. Let me make sure that my controller is set and is going to behave properly, because if it does not, we're not going to be able to fly.
Flight tutorial info txt notepad. Text editor document ATC route KTYS 05L KBNA 20L. Steam 2 of 3. Box 1 of 3.
We're going to behave now. So
Box window. Flight tutorial info TX Prepar 3D
just
scenario.
ignore that bit.
Prepar 3D
I'm
scenario.
just getting this
List
going.
the available weather feed. Change vehicle button. Change.
You want to
Unavailable.
change vehicle
Submenu
button.
dialog. Select vehicle. Selected avatar. Load edit blank.
And there's an edit field. Doesn't have a label that NVDA reads, but we know it's the vehicle edit field. We can search it. 737. I'm going to tab twice.
Combo box of data print. Click to select a vehicle. PMDG 737 800 NG shoe PMDG house N7.
And that will do just fine. That will do just fine. There's a 737-9, which we can select. But again, this isn't really relevant at this point.
Prepare 3D scenario startup dialog. Prepare 3D scenario. List the available weather themes radio, but user defined rate change airport button change.
Let's change the airport.
Submenu dialog select airport search by ICAO ID airport name.
And we're going to search the airport via ICAO ID. We want KTYS. That is the only airport that has that ID.
Edit search combo box menu models combo box active runway collapse.
And we're just tabbing to the combo box that says active runway. We want a gate.
C, gate 1, gate small.
It does not matter which gate you choose here. Your flight plan will work regardless of what gate you choose.
Combo edit search toggle but edit search by airport ID.
And we're going to hit enter. And we're back in the
change vehicle checkbox check this
main scenario dialog. We want to get on this checkbox. That actually will have you show the scenario dialog each time. You will want to leave that checked. And so we're going to press enter. It won't uncheck the checkbox, but it will load the flight. And while that is loading, I'm going to launch TFM. We've pressed enter.
Lockheed Martin prepare 3DV4. Submenu dialog
and it's
window.
loading.
Desktop bar. Echoes T talking flight.
And we're launching TFM as we speak.
Lockheed Martin prepare 3DV4.
There's the interface sounds for TFM.
Unpaused. Sound on. Avionics master active. Battery master active. Gear down. Squawk 1200. Com 1. 128.30. Com 2. 100. Initializing all systems. Number 1 generator off. Number 2 generator off.
And the reason why you're hearing powering down sounds is I like my planes to start at a cold, dark state.
Avionics master off. Ground power available.
And you will see why here in a minute. All right, now that that's done, we're going to launch First Officer. I'm going to go to the start menu.
Start window. Search F-I-R. Flight Simulator S. Flight Simulator First Officer.
First Officer
press right to switch preview.
Yep, that's what we want.
Form 1. Connect button. Space pressed. Connected. Lockheed Martin.
I need to open the doors so that he can start his job. And we're going to press Shift E.
Door 1 open.
Door 1 is open. If you are hearing any hissing noise in the background, that is my laptop fan. This is a gaming laptop, and it can handle flight simulation easily. It even flies the Microsoft Flight Simulator without any problems, accessibility notwithstanding, and we're not even going to get into that. But from a performance perspective,
Good evening,
this laptop can handle anything that is thrown at it.
CDU message displayed. Single FMC operation.
Best computer I've ever purchased, I have to say that. And I've had a lot over the years.
Left forward fuel pump on.
Haven't I?
Yep.
Back discharge light off.
So what you're hearing is...
Form 1 2.
Let's
Connect,
go
connected
look and
window.
see exactly what he's doing.
until APU is powered up. Connected
Is
window.
powering up the APU.
Low oil pressure light on.
And the APU is going to provide us with some ground power and things here in a moment. Yes, this stuff does take time. You can't just come in here and hit
low oil pressure light off.
Control E to start it up like you can a freeware craft. That rapid clicking noise that you're hearing is the avionics. I know it's a rather annoying little noise, but it's gonna get overshadowed here in a bit.
Back discharge light on. APU left. Edit 64 seconds until APU is powered up. Connected window.
Okay, so more stuff.
Edit APU power established. Read only.
Okay, it said 64 seconds, but APU power has been established. He is now doing more free
edit setting IRS switches. Read only.
Setting the IRS switches, and he's about to align our aircraft. This is something new that First Officer will do. In 2.4, he will set the IRS and things, but he will not program the CDU. In this one, he will program all but SIDS, STARS, runways, and flaps. You do have the option of doing it the old-fashioned way if you like. I'm keeping it as simple as possible because I want to do this perhaps at a time where that is not so important.
CDU message displayed. Enter IRS position.
Yep, there it is.
CDU message cleared.
Now what's he going to do? Let's look at that.
Connected window. Edit last pause and set read only.
Yep,
Connected.
and
Edit 4 to check fire warn lights.
oh, he's checking
CTRL to skip read only.
fire warn test. You'll hear the fire alarm test here in just a second. There it is. This is why you do things from a cold dark state. There are hundreds of switches and buttons and things, and First Officer is going through all of them. One day we'll be able to do this, hopefully. Imagine how long it's going to take us, though.
Connected. Edit performing mock hours. Test read only.
Yep. That's the mock alarm to make sure that we are not...
Connect. Edit performing in light test read
Speed
only.
brake arm.
CDU
Flare
message
light on. Back discharge
displayed.
light on. Apple Gen 1 off plus light on. Engine
He'll do
generator
a
off plus light on. Apple low.
stall. He'll do a stall.
Flare light on.
CDU
Back
message
discharge light on.
clear.
Apple Gen 1 off plus light off. Engine
comes
generator off
back.
plus light off. Apple low.
There's
Edit
the oxygen.
performing oxy test read only. Connect. Edit programming of MSRTE page read only.
Now he's programming the route. He's programming all the things that we can program ourselves. The route, the performance, all those things. But we only have to do a couple of them. When he says I can program the CPU,
Lockheed Martin
I'm going to
R3DB4.
hit left bracket and Control C, and then I'm going to go and do this. I can try to explain what I'm doing, but you still have to be kind of fast. There are two ways to set TFM keys. Alt and Control 1 through 6, that's the line left, and line right 1 through 6. Or F1 through F12, where F1 through F6 is left, F7 through F12 is right.
Menu PMDG
I prefer
737
the
CPU.
function
Edit read only
keys
multi-line menu.
because I get a better idea of left and right if I use the function keys. So he's doing his walk around. Let's get started. We're going to hit F1 to go into the ident menu.
Space.
That is
Space. Ident.
well, I can't really read it. We want 05 left with no star and 20 left at Nashville, or no SID. We're going to hit Alt-A to go to the departures page. There are keyboard shortcuts.
Depart index 11 blank.
And we're going to hit left 1 or F1 in this case.
KTYS deposit run 1. KNOXB705L.
And we want the first one.
Execute key available.
That message execute key available, there's a light that actually comes on. And if we had a SID and transition, we would enter that here by using the other options, but we don't have one. You notice when we were looking at the instruction that said DCT, DCT means direct to. Direct to next waypoint. So we do not have a SID here. We're going to press Alt-E.
Execute key off.
Execute key off. That data has been entered. We're going to hit F6 or left 6 or line left 6. And we're going to hit F8, which is right 2. Right 2. Now we're in our arrivals page for Nashville.
Stars approaches.
Or stars.
1. CHSNE 2.02 PL02C.
We want 20 left.
Blank. 2. CHSNE 2.13L02L.
I'm just using the arrow
Blank.
keys
3.
to read these.
CHSNE 2.20 PL02R. Blank. 4. CHSNE 2.31L20L.
There's the one that we want. To select a runway on either departure or arrival, you want to use the line right keys. So if you're using the function keys, those are F7 through F12. We are at
4. CHSNE 2.31L20L.
So that's going to be F10. I'm going to hit that now.
Execute key available.
And I do have a star and other
Blank.
options.
4. SWFF blank 3. RYYMN 2 blank 4. SWFFT 2.20P.
That's the one that I want. So now I can use the line on the left. So that's F1 through F6, according to how I have my TFM set.
4. SWFFT 2.20B.
And we're going to hit F4. Now,
Land 3. VXV or Java.
there's a VXV. We saw that listed. I'm going to hit F3. That's going to give us the transition to that arrival. And now I can hit Alt-E to execute.
Execute key off.
Execute key off. Now the next thing that we have to do...
CDU message displayed. Unable 250 KTS at ADI.
We can just ignore that. We're going to go ahead and go to legs because we need to make sure there are no vectors because we're not using ATC at all. And we need to make sure that there are no route discontinuities. Those will mess up your flight in a hurry. So Alt-G for the legs page.
374, HIMT 3322, BAMA 221, VX 223, S34, 35, WEMO 2 RN6, 1 point, LAN 33, Cora 232, REST 31, ADI 258,000, 12,000, ACT 0, ACT RTE 021, Vector 32, CRAM.
There is a vector to
Execute key
Kramer.
available.
We're going to
Execute
CDU message cleared.
and you just hit F2.
CDU message displayed.
F1 and then
Unable
Alt-E.
250 KTS at ADI.
1305,
Okay, that
INTZ.
looks good. We have one more thing we need to set. Alt-I for performance, F12 to skip, F12 to skip again.
GW3, CG
We are
2,
at
21, flaps
the
QRHV1, takeoff red 1, edit plan.
references page. I'm going to hit Alt-S to go into the scratch pad, hit the number 5 to set our flaps, and F1 to enter that into the left 1 column.
Edit red only multi-line takeoff red 1 2.
That's done. I'm going to hit F6 or left 6 to go back, and then left 5 because I want to enter my approach stuff while we're
Coast
here.
1, land 2, Cape 3, 8001 FT 2439 M 4143
And we're going to use
KT.
the right side of the lines. So 7, 8, and 9. F9 and F10. That is now set, and now we wait.
R3DV4.
I can now explain a little more because we have
Form, connected button, no preview, connect, edit 141 seconds to walk around. At Lockheed
141
Martin
seconds.
R3DV4.
So how do I know that there are what the difference is between left and right? Well, for one, Andy Borka helped me compile a set of instructions based on those keys. So I've memorized where those are. But for another, if you have punctuation turned on, a less than sign will tell you it is the left. A greater than sign will tell you it is the option on the right. So if you have punctuation, look for less thans or greater thans when you're dealing with SID, stars, runways, and the other things. It sounds complicated at first. It did for me, but you do it enough times, you will go from crashing to having the time of your life doing this. So let's see, how much time is left?
No neck, close button, close it, menu window. Form 1 2, Lockheed Martin, form, connect, no preview, connect, edit 77 seconds to walk around. Lockheed
Just
Martin,
over a
R3DV4.
minute to go before he comes back. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and skip this because he's probably done everything he needs to at this point. I know we've done everything we need to, so let's go ahead and set this. Go ahead, well, yeah, let's go ahead and skip this.
We're ready to go.
Yes, we are.
Looks like we picked a good day to fly.
Now, I'm going to close the door so that nothing gets...
Door 1 closed.
Nothing gets left out.
Seatbelt sign on.
He's turning on the passenger signs, testing those, and he is going to do the ground proximity
Isolation valve auto, left back auto, right back auto.
system test here in a minute. That is the stall warning.
Left flight director on, left
Stall
FD master on.
shaker sound.
Right flight director on. Auto throttle arm switch on, auto throttle light on. 24,000. Form 1 2 Lockheed Martin 3 R3DV4.
CDU message cleared.
It's cleared a display message. That was just me getting my controller back online. We need that when we're going to fly. That's all I'm going to say, because is he doing the ground
Form
proximity
1
test
connect,
yet?
no previous, connected, edit 71 seconds until GPWS test finishes.
Yep,
Hold
he's
CTRL
doing
display
that
red
right
only.
now.
Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Sink rate. Pull up. Terrain. Pull up. Don't sink. Don't sink. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Gear. Too low. Flaps. Too low. Terrain. Glide slope. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Approaching minimums. Minimums. 2,500. 1,000. 500. 100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Too low. Terrain. Caution. Terrain. 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 Pull up.
Okay, are we done with...
Connected, edit settings CDU the doors page red only.
Okay, that's being set.
Connected, edit settings CDU the doors page red only. Connected, edit GWT, 146,900.
Okay, we are now ready for the pre-flight checklist.
Voice button. Auto button. Start engines button. After start flow button. Taxi CHKLST button. Before the CHKLST button. Pre-FLT flow button. Pre-FLT CHKLST button. Lockheed Martin.
Make sure I got the doors.
Door 1 open.
Okay, let's close it.
Door 1 closed. Form pre-FLT CHKLST space pressed.
Pre-flight checklist. Oxygen.
Tested.
Navigation, transfer, and display switches.
Normal and auto.
Window heat.
On.
Pressurization mode selector.
Auto.
Flight instruments.
Heading set. Altitude set.
Parking brake.
Set.
Fuel control switches.
Cut off.
Checklist complete.
Now he is moving into the before start flow.
Ground power not available. Left aft fuel pump on. Right aft fuel pump on. Center left fuel pump on. Center right fuel pump on. Right forward fuel pump on. Center left fuel pump off. Center right fuel pump off. Electrical hydraulic pump 2 on. Electrical hydraulic pump 1 on. Left back off. Right back off. Beacon on.
Dear passengers, this is to inform you that the aircraft door is closed and we will be ready for departure. In order for us to push back, we would require that all passengers are seated with their seatbelts fastened and
Flaps 0.
in the upright position. All carry-on luggage should now be either in the overhead compartment or under the seat in front of you. The cabin crew will be passing to make their final safety checks before departure. Thank you.
All right, so we are ready for the before start checklist now.
Before start flow button. Before start CHKLST button. Space.
Before start checklist. Flight deck door.
Closed and locked.
Fuel. 129.6 pounds.
Checked.
Passenger signs.
On.
MCP. V2148. Heading 50. Altitude 24000. Takeoff speeds. V1138. VR 140. V2148.
Set.
CDU pre-flight.
Completed.
Rudder and aileron trim.
Free and 0.
Taxi and takeoff briefing.
Completed.
Anti-collision lights.
On.
Checklist complete.
All right, so now we are ready for pushback. And let's look at our MCP heading and our display heading here. Display.
Heading 343. MCP heading 50.
Oh yeah, we're definitely doing nose left at this point. Nose left pushback. So what's going to happen is I'm going to call for pushback with voice on. It's going to tell me that it's okay to start engines. I will start engines. Then I will announce nose left. And once pushback is done and we are going to taxi, I'm going to pause while that's done, but I will tell you how I'm going to do it before I do it, because we don't want NVDA noises to be picked up.
Before start flow, pre-FLT flow button. Before the CHKLST, taxi C, after start and auto button, voice button. Space pressed. Lockheed Martin, prepare 3 DV4.
Ground from cockpit.
Pushback
Go
start.
ahead.
Waiting for ready for pushback call.
Ready for pushback.
Steering pin inserted. Release
Starting rate
brakes.
Control
Starting
period
push.
releases those.
Cleared to start engines.
Start engines.
Say nose left,
Nose
right,
left.
or stop pushback.
Starting engine 2.
Nose left. Nose left.
Alcoa, Tennessee, United States. 1.3 nautical miles, 147. Form, voice button. Voice wind, connect. Edit 39 secs for N2 to stabilize. Hold CTRL to skip red only. Number 2 generator active. Lockheed Martin, prepare 3 DV4.
Ground from cockpit.
Number 2 ignition on.
Okay, well, I guess it's doing it.
Form, auto button, start engine, after start, taxi CH, before the CH, pre-FLT flow, before tac, after, auto, voice button, space, pressed. Task Lockheed.
This is what it sounds like outside.
S.
Engine 2 cut out.
S.
Starting engine 1.
Number 2 starter off. Number 1 starter engaged. S. Number 1 generator active.
Yeah, on the left side of the plane, you're now going to hear engine 2 begin to start up.
Number 1 ignition on.
Engine 1 cut out. All engines stable.
Set parking brakes. Parking brake on.
Steering pin removed. Cleared to taxi.
One off,
Have a great
engine
flight.
generator off, buzz light on. Pushback complete. Heading 253. MCP heading 50. Left back auto. Right back
Well,
auto.
it certainly didn't do what we wanted it to do.
Number 1 starter off. Apu bleed off. Apu gen 1 off, buzz light off. Engine generator off, buzz light off. Taxi on.
So what's going to happen now is that I'm going to move us to runway 5, and I'm going to hit Alt. I'm going to go to the right twice. I'm going to go down once and press Enter.
Flaps 5.
I'm then going to tab to a combo box that will give me places in the airport. I'm going to select runway 5 left, and then I'm going to press Enter on that. It's going to take me to the runway, and then I will pick up with you there.
Form 1 2 Fox 3 flight 2 meeting control zoom 6 of 6. Lockheed Martin zoom meeting controls. This meeting is being recorded alert. Form 1 2 of taxi CHKLST
Hello
button.
everyone, we are back and we are ready to do our before takeoff checklist, and we are ready to get started on this flight.
Before the CHKLST button.
Let's do the before takeoff checklist.
Space pressed.
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
Set.
Stabilization trim.
Set.
Checklist complete.
Flight attendants prepare for takeoff.
Landing on.
One thing I will point out, make sure that you do your taxi checklist, especially because that will allow you to program or to calibrate your flight stick with first officer. And he will help you get the throttle controls and the rudder control set up. So
Meeting control 206.
make sure to do the flight stick either right before you leave to the runway or right when you get there. So now
Form 1106. Before
I'm
the
going to
CHK.
explain
Meeting Lockheed Martin. Lockheed.
the throttle. So left bracket Shift R will enter a dialog like this.
Enter throttle. Edit selected 0.
But before I do
Lockheed
that,
Martin.
I'm going to
R3DB4.
Parking brake off.
hit
Parking brake
control
off.
period and turn off the parking brakes. Now I'm going to go back into that dialog
Enter throttle. Edit selected 0.
and I'm going to hit
5,
55
so 5.
and I'm going to press enter. It's going to throttle us up. If first officer says thrust set, I will hit control shift G and that will get us to full power and put us in toga mode. And when I hear V1, I will begin to lift us up and we will go from there.
Lockheed Martin. R3DB4. Added down 1.
Thrust set.
Right bracket and left bracket
Right FD master on.
turns on attitude mode. Make sure you do that so you can know how much
24
you're being
knots.
lifted by.
40 knots.
Speed alive.
And
Check.
we are off and running.
57 knots. 72 knots.
80 knots. Checked.
87 knots. 101 knots. 115 knots. 128 knots.
V1. Rotate.
141 knots.
V2.
153 knots.
Up 5.
165 knots.
Up 7.
Airborne.
Up 8.
Positive rate, gear up.
176
Up
knots.
9. Up 10.
Landing gear up.
Taxi off. Up 11. Trim up. 0.00. Trim up. Up 12. Trim up.
Right bracket
0.06. Trim 190. Up 13.
disables
Trim up.
trim.
400 feet. LDAV.
Attitude mode disabled.
LDAV on.
Trim up. 0.15. Trim up. 0.16. Trim up. 0. Trim 200.
VNAV.
Trim up.
VNAV on.
Trim up 2000. Trim up. Set transponder. Trim up. 0.37. Enter transponder. Lockheed Martin. Trim up. Trim disabled. N1 light on.
Acceleration altitude. Command A on. VNAV off.
Speed box visible. VNAV light on.
The heck?
CMDA on. 3000 feet.
Flaps 2. Flaps 1.
4000 feet. Form 1206. Reset button after takeoff. CHKLST button.
Level
CDU
change mode on.
message displayed.
After takeoff
Okay,
checklist.
alert.
Engine bleeds.
Lockheed Martin.
On.
Son
Pack.
of a-
DB4.
Hang on.
Auto.
Flaps. Altitude
Landing
off.
gear.
Altitude 4. VNAV
Up and off.
Left
Flaps.
button model.
Up. No lights. Checklist complete.
C. Lockheed Martin. Lock. CMDA off.
There we go. We're not stalled at least.
CMDA on.
CDU message cleared. CDU message displayed. CDU message cleared.
Altitude box level. Altitude edits of altitude button mode. 5 altitude hold off button mode. VNAV off button mode. Key space rest.
VNAV on.
Speed box level change on button mode. Altitude edit selected 24,000. Lockheed Martin. R3DB4. Heading edit selected. Headings LNAV on button mode. Space rest.
LNAV off.
LNAV light on. Space rest.
LNAV on.
LNAV light on. Lockheed Martin. R3 182 knots indicated.
Hey, sometimes that can happen. Hopefully we recover here in the next
1788
bit.
feet per minute. 188 knots indicated.
I really hope we recover.
651 16 feet ab. $198 knots indicated.
We seem to be on the verge of recovery.
$213 knots indicated.
Okay, we're gonna be fine. Now, first officer went a little bit haywire, and I fixed it.
236 knots indicated. 7,000 feet.
Okay, we're gonna be fine.
$250 knots indicated.
Oh yeah.
Distance to destination. 163.0403812. 8,000 feet. Knoxville, Tennessee, United States. 1.9 nautical miles, 51 degrees.
Now, I do want to explain some stuff here while I've got a moment. I don't have to push any buttons. So, when we go to land, we're going to select the ILS approach for runway 20, which has already been entered into the flight, into the CPU, into the computer on the plane. But we need to set it for TFM first. So I'm going to hit right bracket Control D.
Airport edit plan.
KBNA, press enter.
8 runways loaded. Runway combo box 02 L collapse. 10,000.
Passing 10,000 feet.
220 L landing on. OK but no runway combo box 20 L collapse. OK but no go. Lockheed Martin prepare 3
That has
DD4.
been set. So now, we're going to look at the legs page here, and I want to discuss what we're looking for when we're
11,000 feet.
talking about landing and an ILS approach. So I'm going to hit left bracket, Control C.
Edit red only multi-line approach red 11.
I'm going to hit Alt G.
At RTE legs 24. At RTE legs 34. At RTE legs 201. 200 221.
Okay, so
at RTE 302 304 35. CRAMR 181 3008.
So basically, what we have here is we have a waypoint called Kramer, C-R-A-M-R, and it says 3,000. 3,000 is the altitude of the localizer, and the localizer is a radio signal that we need to intercept. If we don't intercept that, we're not going to find the runway.
RNT actual. At RTE legs 03, 3200 201, Jude 161 2000.
This Jude, which is
forward space J-U-U-U-D-D.
J-U-U-D-D. And this is at
161 2000.
2000. This is the glide slope before the runway.
14,000
If we
feet.
don't hit this, we might aim for the runway with the localizer, but we're still going to miss it. So you have to have the glide slope and the localizer when you are doing an ILS approach. If you miss one or the other or both, you will not land. So that is what
15,000
two waypoints are in an ILS approach that you have before the runway. The runway is
202, RW
this.
20L 148 649. 2, RW 20L 148 649.
So we need to be at 148 knots by the time we get to the runway. So the two waypoints before the runway on an ILS approach are the glide slope, the localizer, the glide slope, and then the runway. So I'm going to pause here until we get ready for our top of descent, because there's not a whole lot to do until we get there.
Lockheed Martin Form 1206. Meeting controls 306. 17,000 feet. Meeting 6. This meeting.
Well, we're almost to our descent right now,
Lockheed
actually.
Form
I need to do our
Form 1. Descent CHKS space.
descent
Press.
checklist,
Descent
which I'm doing
checklist.
right now.
Pressurization.
Meeting
Set.
controls
Recall.
Lockheed Martin
Checked.
Lockheed Martin 3DB4.
Auto brakes.
Set.
Landing data.
Checked.
Altimeters.
Checked.
Approach briefing.
Completed.
Checklist complete.
Altitude box. Altitude edit select 3. Select 0 0.
From the flight deck, we're about 40 nautical miles from the airport. We're not anticipating any delays, so we should have you on the ground in about 20 minutes. In the meantime, if you wouldn't mind helping our flight crew by
CDU message displayed.
as they make their way through the
Reset
hours to
MCP
present
altitude.
the next crew with a good aircraft, we'd appreciate that. We'll talk to you when we get on the ground.
3,000. 3,000.
CDU message cleared.
Okay, so what I just did was hit left bracket A, entered 3,000 for the
Lockheed
altitude,
Martin 3DB4.
and now we're going to sit back and relax for a bit.
0 feet per minute. Distance to descent. 20.0026.
26 seconds away from top of descent. when the descent starts, I will pause again, and I will meet you back at around 14,000 ground altitude. And you check that with right bracket and G.
22,456 feet at minus 1024 feet per minute.
That's where I'll meet you back at, is at around 14,000 ground altitude.
Form 1 2 of 6. Meeting controls 3 of 6. Meeting controls window. This meeting is in order.
Hello, I am back, and we are descending nicely. Ground altitude, which is the one that you want, shows
14,513 feet
at around 14,513. That's where we are descending from still and heading down. So what I need to do is I need to tell First Officer Pro to set the ILS. He is supposed to do this automatically, but I have found that he does not always do it.
16,000. Lockheed Martin RBD Form 1 3 of 6. Form 1. Descent CHKLST button.
Tab to the Form 1 window.
Landing CH. After landing globe. Rep button.
Tab to the preferences button.
X button.
I'm just going to tab through a lot of these.
Combo CP set edit selected. Edit selected. Combo box collapse. Edit selected 05. ICO edit red only. Combo alt edit. Star combo box collapse. Edit selected yes. Combo box collapse. Edit selected hills. Combo box collapse. Edit selected 0. 20, 20, 30, 30, 40.
Setting the flaps to 40.
Combo box. Edit selected 0. Download WX button. Cargo FLT. Checkbox not checked. Download space. Rest. Cargo FL. Combo box collapse. Edit selected 20L.
0 to L.
0 to lock. 0 to 13. 20L. 20L selected. Set hills. Checkbox checked. Edit red. ICO edit multi-line R. X button. Form 1. Rep button.
And we have set that. I just tabbed through that interface. Selected when it said that went to combo box before set hills. That's the runway. I went and selected the runway, made sure set hills was checked, pressed space on the download WX button, and then got out of that box.
15,000 feet.
So, and again, I'm just doing this to keep it simple. I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions. What do all those fields mean? I have a copy of those as well, and what the order of those are, and what you need to mess with, especially if you don't use the sim brief option, because if you don't, you're going to have to configure a lot of stuff by yourself. If you do, sim brief will actually do a lot of it. I just like to make sure the runways are configured. Let's see.
Meeting controls 2 of 6.
Where are we at?
Meeting Lockheed 13,388 feet at. 13,364 feet at.
13,364. Going nicely. And I think what I'll do is I'll just keep it going here for the rest of the flight. And we're waiting on First Officer to announce to us that ILS is set. And we should be
12,850 feet at.
Yep, we're 12,850 and falling, or descending, I should say. It's not a free fall, it is a controlled fall. are now
12,064 feet at.
12,064. We should announce it.
ILS set.
There it is.
13,000 feet. $11,504 feet at.
Everything's looking good at this point. Just keeping an eye.
New Union, Tennessee, United States.
Ah,
6.6
New
nautical
Union,
miles,
Tennessee is
218
where we're
degrees.
close to.
Twelve 12,000 feet.
We should start to see speed drop soon. That's important.
10,360 ag.
Not yet,
254 knots indicated.
although the speed is starting to drop. If you are not able to see speed drop, you need to change the speed manually. And you will do that by hitting left bracket, Shift S. You will go to the speed button, you will hit, or speed MCP button, you will hit space on that. You will Shift Tab left to the speed box, you will enter a speed, and you will press Enter.
11,000 feet.
Dear passengers, we have reached an altitude that requires all electronic devices to be switched off, including PDM,
But thankfully, on this flight, there's no need to do that.
Make sure all of these devices are switched off.
254 knots indicated.
But not all flights will be like this. Some of them you will need to practically babysit yourself on the way down. That looks good.
255 knots indicated. Minus 843, 9565 feet ag.
Okay, so can you make sure
20L,
that
airport edit select KBNA. Runway combo box 20L black, OK button although. Cancel bills details edit red only multi-line selected identifier. IS name, frequency, 1 course, 200.9, slope, 3, distance feet. 191,900, distance NM, 31.58, cancel but OK button although. Lockheed Martin 3 Part 3 DV4,
let's
10,000
check
feet,
our
seatbelt sign on.
waypoints and see where we are.
Passing 10,000 feet.
Land edit red only, ACT-RTE Lex 33. ACT-RTE Lex 1, 317.0.5 NF1, adding 258,000, 12,000.
CDU message
90
displayed.
SPI.
Unable 250 KTS at breath.
317.15.51, red 256,000 day. 243 knots indicated.
NAV1 has localizer.
All right,
Localizer
we're
is
looking
alive.
good.
Runway heading 202.
We don't do anything yet, though. We're watching our waypoints. Left bracket, Control C brings you into the CDU. If you're not in the legs page, you hit Alt G. Alt G as in golf, and that will take you to the list of waypoints that we need to be looking at here. It's actually also fun to watch your progress through a flight. So if you don't have anything to do, just watch the waypoints disappear, and you'll know that you're heading in the right direction. Took me a little bit to get used to it on a payware plane for the first time, but I actually kind of like it now that I've done it before.
317.11.7 NM, 1, red 256,000 day.
All right, we're still looking good.
1, red 256,000 day. 8186 feet, minus 758 feet per minute.
Steady descent. Hasn't really changed all that much. Now I am going to go get some information for you so that we know what the numbers you'll hear in a little bit means. I will be right back.
Lockheed Martin, reform 1307, meeting controls 407. Meeting at the end. At RTE legs 13
Okay,
PM.
so what you're going to hear when we get to the part
At RTE legs
we need to land
317.1 nm. 1. Red 256,000 day.
is you're going to hear two numbers. The first one might say 140 left, or 2,000 below 140 left. What that means is that we are 2,000
7,000 feet.
feet above the glide slope, and we need to turn 140
CDU message
degrees
clear.
to the left to catch the localizer. If I'm doing that wrong, I apologize. Let me see if I said it
Meeting
right.
controls 207.
Already,
At RTE Lockheed Martin Form 1 Zoom Fox 6 flight tutorial info team meeting controls 107. At RTE Lockheed Martin at RTE edit red.
I already got rid of it, but the thing is that it's going to line us up if we hit it
318.1
correctly.
or 226,000 day. 318.3.6 nm.
All right.
243 knots indicated.
Starting to slow down a little bit more now. You have a radial needle that's actually going to go up and down when we go into approach mode. And so that's why you hear two sets of numbers constantly. It's because visually there's a little needle that moves on your display showing you where you are in relation to it. And you want to try to get that needle dead center if you can. But you don't necessarily have to be dead center to land it. I should point that out. If you don't get dead center, there's another way to know you can land. You have landed successfully, and I will be showing you that when we hit the ground.
53-58 feet back.
When we hit the ground properly.
At RTE
Flaps
legs
1.
317 1.3 nm. 1. Hackham 220
CDU message
5574.
displayed. Drag required.
Flaps 1.
My message will go away shortly.
Flaps 1. $49.95 feet back.
And first officer is controlling the flaps. Again, all the information that he has is in sim brief.
CDU message cleared.
And from what the plane is telling him,
0220.7 nm. 1. Civil 210,500. 327.7 nm. 2. CRAMR 181 3000 day.
that
Flaps
is
2.
1. Civil 0220.2 nm.
Flaps 5. Glide
Glide
slope
slope
alive.
is alive. NAV1 has glide slope.
Flaps 5.
okay. We are still too far away at this point.
At RTE legs 0220.7 nm. 1. Civil 210,500.
Flaps 15.
I will need to put out the
Flaps
landing
10.
gear here in a minute.
Meeting control Lockheed Martin prepare 3DV.
So I've
Flaps
alt
15.
tabbed back to the
Flaps 15.
simulator window. I'm going to hit
Flaps
the letter
30.
G here in a minute. Right now.
Landing gear down. Flaps 25. Flaps 30.
Flaps 40.
Flaps 30. Taxi
You're
on.
hearing the
Fear bound.
throttles pull up, but that's
Glide
okay.
slope is alive.
Flaps
We're not
40.
in any
At
danger.
RTE legs 1
NAV1
edit
has
red.
localizer.
At RTE legs 1 2 select
Localizer is
0220.1
alive.
nm. 1.
Runway
Civil
heading
210,500.
202. NAV1
Okay,
has
we
glide
still don't
slope.
need to do anything yet. because
NAV1 has localizer.
That's good.
Localizer is alive.
That's good. We have
Runway heading 202.
Nav1 has glide slope and the localizer. That's good. But we don't need to do anything yet because we're not where we need to be. It's all right. No reason to panic.
0222.4 nm. 1. Civil 210,500. Minus 121 feet per minute. 4502 feet back.
It sounds worse than it is, I promise.
Zero two two 1.7 nm.
1.7. Looking good. Looking good. Unless we're going away from it, and then that's going to steer
NAV1
me.
has localizer.
At
Localizer
RTE
is alive.
022 1.2 nm.
Okay,
Runway heading
1.2.
202.
1. Civil 210 5000. 0220.8 nm.
All right, heading in the right direction. That's good. I'm just hitting Alt-R in the legs page window, which I've kept open periodically to check it.
At RT 0220.2 nm. At RT 348 9.2 nm.
Glide slope is
9.2
alive.
nautical miles away
NAV1
from
has
the
glide
localizer.
slope.
And our altitude,
4399 feet at minus 1102 feet per minute.
we're doing just fine. We're gonna make it.
4193 feet at minus 269 feet per minute. At RTE legs 1 348.1 nm.
Not yet.
At RT 347.6 nm.
Nope. Still too far out.
At RTE 347.3 nm.
Nope. Gotta check it quickly, because if you don't check it quickly enough, you might miss it.
At RT 347.0 nm.
Nope, we're not there yet. Let's wait a little bit more. Remember, Alt-R refreshes the display, and then use your arrow keys to read it.
346.4 nm.
Insert up arrow, actually, so you don't have to leave the line that you're sitting on.
346.0 nm.
Nope, almost. Almost.
348.5 nm.
Let's go ahead.
Lockheed Martin 3
Control,
VDV4.
Alt-Tab, Control-A.
Approach, hold on.
Approach on.
2124 below. Left
It's
147.
just going to repeat those numbers.
2075
4,000
below.
feet.
Left 146. 2019 below. Left 146. 1991 below. Left 146.
We're trying to line up with the glide slope first.
1859 below. Left 146. 1795 below.
That's why that number's
Left
changing.
146.
We're not too localized yet,
1717 below. Left 146.
See, how far are we?
1651 below.
200.
Left 146. 1549 below. Left
We're still about
146. 1574 below. Left 146. 1454 below. Left 146. 1323
that
below.
number should change.
Left 146.
Or start to change.
1204 below. Left 146.
Just over a mile out now.
1123 below. Left 146. 1017 below.
348.4 nm.
Left 146. 930 below. Left
LNAV off.
146.
All right.
856 below. Left 146.
348.7 nm.
762 below. Left 146. 651 below. Left 146.
And I think we
561 below. Left
Approach, hold on. VNAV
146.
off.
Speed light on. Speed box visible. VNAV light on. Approach on.
492 below.
We've got it.
Left 144.
Screen closed.
387 below.
Lockheed Martin 3 R3
Left
DV4.
135. 333 below. Left 120. CDU message displayed. Reset MCP altitude.
That's fine.
230 below. Left 101. CDU message cleared.
We have it. It didn't say center, but we know that we've got it. The numbers are no longer reading. And
minus 1099 feet per minute.
Yeah, I know, it'll slow down.
Minus 965 feet per minute.
There we go. When we get ready to land, as we're coming into the last 30 feet, I'm going to hit F1 to throttle down. I'm going to use my controller here. Get it back going again.
2,000 feet.
Very good.
Flaps 40.
When we get ready to land, within 30 feet, I'm going to hit the throttle down. I'm going to flick the left stick on my controller up a little bit, just to pitch the nose up slightly. That will give us a little more comfortable landing when we get there.
1164 feet back. Minus 764 feet per minute.
Check our full distance. Right bracket D.
Distance to destination. 30:01:7.
All right, we're in good shape.
1,000.
Yep.
1,000.
That's good. That's good. Hear the call-outs from the ground proximity warning system. This is what you want to hear.
864 feet back.
And as blind pilots, we need to hear this. Just watching the descent with right bracket G.
719 feet back.
Again, you don't have to do this as much.
$1,000 feet.
500.
That's good.
458 feet back.
458. We're looking good.
400.
Nice and easy.
300.
Yep.
Minimum.
Get ready.
200.
We're at 200.
100. 100.
Hold your breath. Here we go.
50. 40.
30.
Speed light.
30.
20.
20.
10.
10.
On ground.
Reverse thrust. Speed brake arm.
Touchdown.
136 knots.
Stop.
Manual braking.
123 knots.
Stop.
100 knots.
97
Reverse idle.
knots. 94 knots.
F2 puts on reverse thrust. F1
93
will reverse
knots.
idle.
91 knots. 90 knots.
Slash. Spoilers retracted.
88 knots.
Slash.
Speed brake armed.
86 knots.
Dot.
80 knots.
78 knots. 66 knots.
60 knots.
64 knots.
Dot. Dot.
57 knots.
Parking brake.
Parking brake on.
28 knots.
Dear passengers,
let's see where we are.
Parking brake off. Hit a key off. Setcom radios dialog. Active. Lockheed Martin.
Right bracket shift
Runway 20
C.
LKBNA.
Runway 20L KBNA. And one more statistic
low oil
we
pressure
need
light
to
on.
look at. Right bracket shift B.
Landing rate. Minus 305 feet per minute.
Absolutely. Minus 305. Anywhere between
From the flight
300.
deck, welcome to our destination.
Well, if you get
We'll be
below
happy to
300,
report
that's
with
fine. But anywhere between 300 to 350,
for the weather,
370
it's
up to
dry
about
and, moderate
600,
temperatures,
you should be
so, you
good.
may just want to have a light jacket when you board the airplane. Once again, thanks for flying. We hope to see you on a future flight.
Oak Hill,
And-
Tennessee, United States. 5.9 nautical miles. 258
What's the
degrees.
city that
Active
we're
low
at?
oil pressure light off.
Right bracket C.
Oak Hill, Tennessee, United States. Oak Hill, Tennessee,
Oak
United
Hill,
States.
Tennessee.
5.9 nautical miles.
We are in
258 degrees.
Nashville. And ladies and gentlemen, that,
Abu Gen 1 off plus light on. Engine generator off plus light on.
ladies and gentlemen, you have just flown your first flight
Flaps 0.
by yourself without sighted assistance.
Meeting controls 206.
Congratulations.
Meeting controls with